Well, look, the Houston Rockets turned Jalen Green into Kevin Durant. That is an unbelievable upgrade.
One of the greatest players ever, one of the best scorers ever. It's going to make my life a lot easier, you know what I mean?
Picture this, you just made one of the craziest blockbuster trades of the offseason. You finished second in the Western Conference, and then you break the NBA by trading for Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. And immediately you tell him that you're not planning on paying him the max. That's exactly what the Houston Rockets are doing right now, and it might be the boldest or most foolish front office move of 2025. After acquiring the 36-year-old superstar from Phoenix in June's blockbuster 7-team trade, Houston is taking a hardline stance that we've never really seen before. They're refusing to offer Kevin Durant a maximum contract extension. But why would they do this? Well, it's much crazier and complicated than you might think. Before we get to the content, we're giving away copies of NBA 2K26 to a subscriber that turns on their notifications on this channel. And now that we get all of that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So for those of you guys that didn't hear this news, let me have Tim McMahon tell you the story himself.
They waited till the price was at a value that they felt was comfortable for them. Kevin Durant, he's not necessarily their priority. But while trying to cash in on this window that they created by getting Kevin Durant, their priorities are that they have as long of a runway as possible, but it's not going to be a max extension for Kevin Durant in Houston.
Hearing a team isn't going to go all in on an extension for Kevin Durant sounds borderline ludicrous. Despite trading away their former number 2 overall pick Jalen Green to get him, the Rockets are thinking of offering around $100 million over 2 years instead of the $122.1 million maximum that Kevin Durant is eligible for. A massive $22 million discount that could send one of the NBA's biggest stars packing after just one season. This isn't just about money, it's about respect, leverage, and whether the Rockets are making a calculated business decision or setting themselves up for disaster. Durant enters the final year of his current deal earning $54.7 million, and at the age of 36, this is without a doubt his final chance at a truly massive payday. The NBA's over 38 rule limits him to just 2 more years max, making this extension his final opportunity to secure, well, even more generational wealth. So why are the Rockets playing hardball with a future Hall of Famer? Well, Houston's reluctance isn't coming from nowhere. The NBA is littered with cautionary tales of teams that paid aging stars maximum money and lived to regret it, even before the current edition of the CBA. The gold standard of these disasters remains the late great Kobe Bryant and his 2013 contract extension with the Lakers. I remember how frustrated I was about this contract extension. Los Angeles handed Kobe Bryant 2 years and $48.5 million. A deal that I just assumed was a thank you to Kobe Bryant and an admission by the Los Angeles Lakers that they weren't really interested in contending anymore, and it looked terrible before the Black Mamba even stepped on the court. He played in just 6 games in 2013-14 due to his Achilles injury, and over the life of that contract, the Lakers went a combined 38 and 126, while Kobe's salary consumed 40% of their cap space. One Lakers executive reportedly said that we could have signed nobody and just tanked, but instead we paid $25 million a year to tank. The contract prevented LA from building any competitive roster around their aging star, leading to the worst stretch in franchise history and years of mediocrity. Now, I don't want to make this sound like this is solely Kobe Bryant's fault, because like I said in the very beginning, I felt like this was just a thank you to Kobe Bryant for everything he did for the Los Angeles Lakers. So a better example might be the Brooklyn Nets' 2013 pursuit of a 37-year-old Kevin Garnett and a 35-year-old Paul Pierce. The Nets paid a record $90.57 million in luxury tax for a team that managed just one playoff series victory. Pierce's production nosedived from 18.6 points per game to 13.5 points per game, while Kevin Garnett fell off of a cliff from 14.8 to 6.5 points. The real kicker is those draft picks that Brooklyn traded away became Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who helped Boston win their 2024 championship, while the Nets spent nearly a decade recovering from that one disastrous decision. The most recent cautionary tale is Paul George's 4-year, $212 million deal with Philadelphia at age 34. The Clippers, who had Paul George in his prime, took one look at the price tag and said no thanks, allowing him to walk rather than commit nearly $250 million to a player with an extensive injury history. George missed significant time in 4 of his 5 seasons with LA, and the Clippers clearly decided that paying him through his age 38 season was too risky. Philadelphia's willingness to make that commitment immediately raised eyebrows around the league, especially considering Paul George's playoff struggles and injury concerns. The pattern is clear and terrifying. Aging superstars decline faster than anyone expects, and the teams that pay them maximum money often find themselves trapped with unmovable contracts that destroy their competitive windows. But not every max deal for an aging superstar ends in disaster. Houston is surely aware of the success stories that could justify paying Kevin Durant. LeBron James signed a 4-year, $153.3 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers at age 33, then followed it up with extensions that have paid him over $200 million through his current age 40 season. Despite the massive financial commitment, LeBron James delivered the 2020 NBA championship, which totally counts. We're all in agreement that the bubble championship was the hardest championship to win. If anything, I think this championship should count as 2 championships, and let me know in the comment section down below if you agree, because clearly I'm not trolling you guys by saying this. But on top of that, LeBron James reached the 2023 Western Conference Finals and remains an elite player even now. His Lakers contracts represent perhaps the only unqualified success in modern max deals for aging superstars. Until you remember LeBron's biggest rival, Steph Curry signed a 4-year, $215 million extension at age 33. Golden State was already paying record luxury taxes, but Curry validated every dollar by winning the 2022 NBA championship and Finals MVP at age 34. His sustained excellence, averaging 26.4 points per game on an obscene 42.7% three-point shooting percentage last season, proved that elite skill players can age more gracefully than athletic wings or big men. The key difference appears to be sustained elite performance versus rapid decline. Both LeBron James and Steph Curry maintained all NBA level production throughout their extensions, while players like Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, and Paul George fell off of cliffs that nobody really saw coming. Durant's camp surely points to these success stories, arguing that his skill-based game will age similarly to Steph Curry's rather than crash like so many others. And to be fair, they make a very reasonable argument. I mean, how many players do you know that have been as effective as Kevin Durant post Achilles tear? But there's also the hometown discount angle. Tim Duncan took massive pay cuts in his final years, signing for just $10.4 million over 2 seasons at age 38 and 39 to help San Antonio remain competitive. Dirk Nowitzki accepted just $5 million in his final season, sacrificing tens of millions to give Dallas flexibility. Both maintained team competitiveness while preserving their legacies, though this required rare selflessness that most superstars won't consider, even though Kevin Durant is getting a huge tax discount from playing in Texas now. NFL season's around the corner, and Dak Prescott just needs 1 passing yard in order for his square to hit. Guys, you can sign up with my promo code microphone to get a free $50 in lineups when you play $5 or more on Prize Picks. Once you get that, use $25 on this lineup here to make $131. I've already been making picks so I can snipe the best lines early on, and in this case I'm pairing Dak Prescott to get 1 passing yard, which is a free square, with Kyren Williams getting a touchdown at any point and Justin Jefferson scoring a touchdown versus the Chicago Bears. On top of that, if you want more plays, I've created an incredible Discord community of experts in the WAP linked in the description down below. And thank you, Prize Picks, for today's sponsor. The brutal reality is that Kevin Durant, despite his continued excellence, is showing concerning signs of decline that make Houston's hesitation understandable. At age 36, going on 37, he remains an elite offensive weapon, averaging 26.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.2 assists on a remarkable 52.7% field goal percentage and 43% three-point shooting last season. His true shooting percentage of 59.8% ranks among the most efficient in NBA history, and his isolation scoring at 1.21 points per possession still leads the league. But the one knock on Kevin Durant has always been is the fact that he himself is not capable of carrying his team to a championship, and that has never been more evident than his Phoenix Suns tenure. The Suns weren't even a playoff team last year, and the year prior they got swept in the first round. And on top of that, the red flags are multiplying rapidly. Kevin Durant played just 62 of 82 games last season, missing significant time with recurring left calf strains and ankle injuries that ultimately ended his season early on March 30th. This continues a troubling pattern. Durant has played over 60 games just twice in the last 5 seasons. Phoenix went 33-29 with Durant and 3-17 without him, demonstrating both his continued impact and the catastrophic risk of building around an injury-prone star. The durability concerns aren't just bad luck. Research consistently shows athletic performance begins declining around age 35, and while Kevin Durant's skill-based game has aged better than most, his lateral movement and perimeter defense show clear deterioration. Advanced metrics still favor him. A player efficiency rating of 21.2 and 5.2 win shares indicate above average impact, but the question isn't his current level. It's whether he can still maintain this production through a contract that would pay him $62.5 million at age 39. Historical precedent doesn't offer a lot of comfort here. Carmelo Anthony at age 33 was still averaging 22.4 points when he opted into his $27.9 million contract with the Oklahoma City Thunder. 1 year later, he produced the worst season of his career, 16.2 points on 40.4% shooting, before being traded, waived, and effectively blackballed from the league for over a year. He never signed another contract above the veteran minimum. Even more concerning, the 2024-25 season saw an unprecedented 7 Achilles tears after 0 the previous year, with stars like Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, and Tyrese Halliburton suffering potentially career-ending injuries. Commissioner Adam Silver called it unprecedented and assembled an expert panel using AI technology to investigate the epidemic. At Durant's age, one significant injury could transform elite production into an albatross contract overnight, and the Rockets' refusal to offer Kevin Durant maximum money reflects a broader organizational philosophy that prioritizes long-term flexibility over short-term star retention. GM Raphael Stone has consistently avoided overpaying for talent, and this approach extends even to a player of Kevin Durant's caliber and even players that are homegrown talent. I mean, take a look at Houston's recent track record of winning these exact negotiations with their own homegrown players, which should give them a lot of confidence that they'd be able to do it with Kevin Durant. Alperen Şengün was eligible for a 5-year, $224 million maximum extension, and he was without a doubt the face of the Houston Rockets, but he signed for $185 million, which is $40 million less over the life of the deal. This is a 23-year-old all-star center who hasn't even hit his prime yet. He could have held out for max money, but he chose security and team loyalty instead. Jabari Smith Jr. received a 4-year, $90 million extension, averaging just $24 million a year. This is well below the rookie maximum that he could have commanded on the open market. Even Fred VanVleet restructured his deal to provide Houston more flexibility, taking less guaranteed money in exchange for a larger role. Most telling was Jalen Green. Before being traded to Phoenix, Green accepted a 3-year, $106 million extension instead of a 5-year max deal that could have been worth significantly more. The Rockets convinced him that security and staying in Houston's system was better than betting on himself in restricted free agency. Well, in hindsight, maybe Jalen Green should have bet on himself there, but even role players have bought into this approach. This past offseason, Dorian Finney-Smith signed what appeared to be a 4-year deal, but the final 2 years of his contract are voidable, giving Houston an escape hatch if his performance declines, while providing him guaranteed money up front. That negotiating success with Jalen Green, a young player with leverage, shows Raphael Stone's ability to convince stars that taking less money serves their long-term interests. The Rockets have created a culture where players trust the organization's vision enough to sacrifice individual maximization for team building, and this has become even more significant under the new CBA, which severely punishes teams that hand out out bad contracts. The luxury tax penalties are now so harsh that one wrong contract can destroy a franchise's championship window for years. Teams above the second tax apron face restrictions on trading first-round picks, signing bought-out players, and using the mid-level exception, essentially handcuffing organizations that overspend. Recent championship contenders have learned this lesson the hard way. I mean, Bradley Beal signed a 5-year, $251 million supermax with a no-trade clause that completely destroyed Phoenix's championship hopes after they traded for this contract. The Suns couldn't move Beal's contract even when it became clear the fit wasn't working, trapping them with an aging, injury-prone guard earning $50+ million annually while their title window was slammed shut. Jordan Poole's 4-year, $140 million extension looked reasonable when Golden State signed it, but his playoff collapse forced them to trade him with additional assets just to escape the deal after one season. Ben Simmons haunted the Brooklyn Nets. His contract was $124 million over 3 seasons for just 90 games played before finally waiving him in February. The Nets were still dealing with the salary cap ramifications of that disaster, as Simmons' max contract became completely unmovable after his mysterious back injuries and shooting struggles, a topic that we've covered ad nauseum on this YouTube channel. But what about Russell Westbrook? The Los Angeles Lakers gutted out their championship core for Russell Westbrook's super maximum contract, and even at his final year at $47 million, the Lakers were forced to attach draft picks just to dump the contract, costing them valuable assets in their championship pursuit. Under the new CBA, these mistakes aren't just expensive, they're franchise crippling. Houston understands that paying Durant $122 million through age 39 could easily become the type of unmovable contract that destroys their championship window just as it's opening. And the numbers tell the broader story. Houston's currently $60.4 million over the luxury tax threshold, with a projected payroll of $248.3 million for 2025 to 26. Adding a max extension would push their tax bill into historically painful territory. More importantly, the Rockets have structured their roster with 2027 in mind, when Amen Thompson becomes extension eligible and multiple contracts expire or become non-guaranteed. Remember, Amen Thompson exploded last season. The organization clearly views him as their franchise cornerstone, along with the 23-year-old Alperen Şengün, who's already locked into a $145.9 million deal. This is not a developmental team anymore. This is a team that was the number 2 seed last season without Kevin Durant that needs a go-to scorer with championship experience. But here's where it gets interesting. Brian Windhorst reported that he was 98% sure that Durant won't remain in Houston long-term without a max contract offer. This isn't just speculation. Kevin Durant has already indicated that he'd only sign extensions with 3 specific teams prior to being traded: the Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, and Miami Heat. If Houston lowballs him, Durant has clear alternatives, all in states that would give him a massive tax discount that might offer both max money and a potential to win a championship. The nightmare scenario for Houston involves Durant playing out the season disengaged, knowing that he's leaving in summer of 2026. But to be honest, that seems very unlike Kevin Durant. Even in his final season with Golden State, he did everything he possibly could to try to help them win a championship. But this extension represents his final chance at a truly massive payday. Players of his caliber expect maximum respect and maximum dollars. Durant's public comments suggest that he understands the business reality but won't accept significant discounts, saying, "I'm gonna handle my business, and I've always bet on myself." This language doesn't sound like someone preparing to take $22 million less than his market value. At the end of the day, Kevin Durant is a remarkable fit for the Houston Rockets. They ranked 27th in effective field goal percentage on off-the-dribble jumpers last year, while their elite defense and young talent complement his skill set perfectly. There's familiarity with Ime Udoka, and his system allows KD not to put too much effort in defense while focusing on what he does best, creating instant, easy offense. But the financial stance carries enormous risk. If Kevin Durant walks after one season, Houston would have traded a promising young player for a rental that didn't deliver a championship. Or maybe we get Kawhi Leonard 2.0. Kevin Durant joins the Houston Rockets, helps them win a championship, and then goes to the highest bidder. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this situation? Do you think Kevin Durant would end up taking a pay cut, or do you think Houston has lost their marbles for even trying to get him to try this? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I don't know if you guys heard, but the NFL's been going absolutely crazy recently. The Cleveland Browns just announced that a 40-year-old Joe Flacco is going to be the starting QB over Shedeur Sanders, and Anthony Richardson, the number 4 overall pick from the 2023 NFL draft, might be out of the NFL. I made 2 separate videos on that. I'm going to leave it in the end screen and I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.